Hello, everybody. Here, Enrico Benzoni, and today we are going to talk about the importance of integration with reference to automation of security operation. Let me introduce the speaker, and today we have Dario Forte, Vice President and General Manager Orchestration and Automation at Sumo Logic. Welcome, Dario.
Hello, Enrico. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. It's a pleasure.
Dario is formerly CEO and founder of DF Labs, a pioneer in SOAR technology acquired last year by Sumo Logic. And with him, there are Michele Zambelli, Senior Director Orchestration and Automation at Sumo Logic, responsible for SOAR R&D area.
Hi, Enrico. Good morning.
And Andrea Fumagalli, Senior Director Orchestration and Automation at Sumo Logic, that support customers to take full advantage of the potential usage of Sumo Logic Cloud SOAR.
Hi, everyone. Pleased to be here with all of you.
Let's start with Dario. So, Dario, is burnout still a problem for many organizations?
Yes, it is, and it's going to be even more important to be taken care of in the next 12 months, I think. And the reasons are basically two. The first is the unmeasurable growth of alerts and a workload for security operation centers and operators in general. And second is the continuously growing lack of qualified personnel in this specific field. So the people that are actually working in a SOC, or we will get into it in a few seconds, or in general in security, cannot be replaced because there are no people able to replace them. And at the same time, they gotta support and take care of the workload also of other people, and the risk of burnout is definitely a major one. So the question is how we can solve this. Part can be solved with the preparation, so processes, procedures, and policies and strategy, I will say it, bottom top. And second, with the adoption of the correct technology able to support SOC and security scale. Just very quickly, what we are assisting with our customers at Sumo is that now the burnout and the importance of handling growing workloads is not just about security operation centers, but is starting to be a topic also for development team and also digital transformation team, because these people are asking to be involved in the security architecture as a part of the process, because they want to own it, they want to have part, they want to be part, they want to have visibility of what's happening from the security standpoint in terms of alerts. And that is a potential issue for them as well.
Thank you, Dario. I remember that the SOAR stands for Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response. And SOAR is usually start with the SIEM hands, and so basically ingest a lot of alerts, and through the SOAR you can orchestrate and automate in streamlined processes all your tools. So, Andrea, I have a question for you. What are the quick wins when looking at SOC automation?
Okay, definitely the improvement of the reaction time in responding to an incident is the biggest, let's say, benefit for, I would say, most of our customers, or probably all of our customers. Then a more focused reaction where the objective is to reduce the attack surface and protecting the corporate resources as soon as possible, as quick as possible. And of course, reducing the overhead in the, let's say, all the activity in documenting the incident. So, for example, adopting Cloud SOAR while the incident is being processed and mitigated, automatically it's recorded, and the reporting of an incident is just a matter of one click at the end of the incident itself. Another benefit is the improved throughput. With automation and orchestration, of course, the processing time of each incident is drastically reduced, and the same team can process a higher amount of incidents, definitely with more accuracy, less human errors, which is another benefit, and of course ensuring compliance with the industry regulations and when applicable with company procedures, because a big requirement for all customers is to be compliant with the appropriate corporate procedures for auditing and monitoring of the operations, either for improvement and compliance with industry standards. So when this is done, I mean, when the incident response activity is done through a SOAR, through automation, then of course compliance is already preserved. And finally, we look also to improve the quality of life of the analyst, because we know that one of the big issue for all SOCs is the, of course, turnover due to the, let's say, annoying tasks that most of the analysts have to do. So we help SOCs to preserve their teams, to ensure that their analysts feel as much as possible happy with the work they do every day. And this helps in improving the performances of the SOC, because it helps to preserve the knowledge that has been created into the SOC.
So basically, the analyst will change the ways in which they are used to work. Before, without SOAR, they are used to manage many different tools. With the SOAR, they just follow structured processes, and they can also orchestrating other tool through the platform for obtaining the results that they would like to analyze. Thanks,
Yeah,
Andrea.
you need to look at, so forgive me, Enrico, you need to look at SOAR as the connecting tissue that take care of the last mile of enrichment, reaction, assessment, response after the alert has been raised. Yeah. So it is basically given the alerts, doesn't matter if it is a CM, of course CM is the priority one, but given the alerts, then the last mile is taken care by the SOAR in terms of automation and orchestration.
Yeah. Thank you, Dario. So, Michele, how do we cope with the proliferation of platforms, cloud native, premise?
Well, basically, two different ways. The main ways are, the first is that the cloud SOAR application is very, very flexible in terms of deployment. So when we need to integrate a cloud technology, for us it's very simple. In general, it's very simple because the application, the SOAR application, is already hosted in the cloud. So if you want to interact with the cloud service, there is no need to create specific network rules that was required in the past in case the application is installed in a segregated network perimeter. The application cloud SOAR is already in the cloud, so can communicate with any restriction with any type of cloud service. So this means that the deployment, the implementation is very, very quick. In addition, if there is the need to communicate from the cloud SOAR with some customer internal technologies, because are segregated into a dedicated network, so are not published into the cloud, we provide the automation bridge. That is a sort of point of contact between the cloud and the network of the customer. So all the actions that need to be executed into the cloud can be directly to the cloud technologies. Other actions can be executed locally through the automation bridge that execute locally the action and send back to the cloud application the result of this automation. And of course, we provide also the possibility to adopt a sort of hybrid approach. So inside a playbook or an automation in general, the user can decide that part of the action should be executed into the cloud and other actions should be executed through the bridge, so locally into the customer infrastructure. The second reason is that we adopt and we permit to use the open integration framework that permit to integrate with any cyber security, not cyber technologies, many ways. So we can do integration using API call, but we can also create integration that directly communicate and talk with the databases. We can create integration that execute directly bash command and so on. So we are not only tied to the API concept, but we can provide any type of integration. We permit to leverage on different scripting languages, Bash, Perl, Python, PowerShell. So again, the deployment and the possibility to use the open integration framework means that our cloud application is very, very flexible and can be adapted to any type of environment or use case.
Amazing, thank you. So integration among many systems is an important key when it comes to cybersecurity. And some vendors have started talking about no-code automation. Dario, what are your thoughts on this?
Scientifically, that remembers me the period while the intrusion detection systems came out of the market and vendors were claiming real-time intrusion detection, and there were a lot of papers coming out and with this, with this concept, and the scientific community agreed on the fact that these concepts are similar, but at the same time cannot be qualified as drastically as a no-code kind of it. There is always the need of a bit of coding to adapt slowly or minimally customize or make the playbook or the integration really adaptable to the customer environment or the SOC environment that is being taken care of. So personally, the line that we are getting at Sumo is stay away a little bit from this, which is a bit of mixed marketing, bold message, so the no code, and bringing the concept to a more severe, scientifically severe, near no code kind of concept, which is technically similar to the low code, the almost no coding. You need to make some customization kind of things, but especially in automation and orchestration, I would say in security in general, being bold and being too marketing never pay off. The scientific definition are very important. So our position is near no code, whereas we build the majority of the things. There are hundreds and hundreds of continuously updated set of integrations and playbooks that are available in our community. Customers can use it and make very little modification, make it immediately ready, or even building the playbooks and the integration is rather easy compared with the past, where the coding activity was very heavy. I'm talking about 2 to 3 years ago. So our approach is with again towards the near no code kind of it. And again, there are many ways to implement it. Sumo can do it for customers in case they don't have time and skills, but some sophisticated customer can do differently. I think that Andrea and Michele have some business case that can generally share. But again, our approach is a bit more scientific. There is no code. We insist on the fact that near no coding is the best and the most correct approach. Enrico?
Yeah, so third-party vendors API can change, customer needs can arise. So as a consequence, a SOC is forced to modify the code to adapt to changes in the APIs. Andrea, can you give us some more example?
Yeah, absolutely. What you mentioned are just few of the examples why code changes are requested. Because of course, third-party products have their own roadmap developments. New needs arise in customer environments. Of course, the attacks evolve, so the different SOCs, and the analysts have to keep up with them. So these are all reasons why we need to be able to support this approach that we call near no code, as Dario just mentioned. So it is important, from our perspective, it is important that when changes are requested, they can be applied through a user-friendly environment where applying codes, testing, and deploying these new changes is, let's say, easy and quick to do. And this is what we developed inside our tool, which is named Open Integration Framework. The Open Integration Framework is a graphical environment where, of course, part of the features are accessible through menus, buttons, operator with drag and drop functionalities to build up the flow. But when it comes to apply changes to the code, then it's a built-in editor that allows the developers, in most of the cases, it's our R&D team, to apply the changes, modify the existing actions, add pieces of code. I mean, we support different programming languages, as Michele mentioned, so it's possible to work with the language that feels more comfortable for the different customers. And then when all this is done, of course, these new changes, they can be released and tested immediately against existing alerts, existing incidents, and as part of an existing playbook. A playbook is the concept of a workflow for resolving the incident, just to clarify with our terminology. Now, a few examples can be identified typically in the cases where there are new functionalities requested by the customer, new actions, maybe a variation on existing action that we have already prepared and made available in the community and distributed to the different customers. Customers can get inspiration from these actions and decide maybe to modify or ask us to modify, adding new different functionalities. Then it's possible, of course, to modify the input parameters. It's possible to modify the output parameter, or maybe default values, or specific steps like distributing notification with a specific technology instead of another one. Then it's possible to decide what are the results, the data that we want to display after an action is executed. So the ability to select what can be an output and what can be displayed to the user and which format, and having all this done with just a couple of statements is another great plus in our tool. Sometimes we need to refactor some specific, let's say, actions, maybe because the third-party vendor has completely changed the functionality of their APIs, or maybe because the customer decided to adopt a different technology. So just refactoring an existing action is another way to support the evolution maintenance. Typically, as we have already mentioned a couple of times, we want to do this activity on our own. So for the customer, from the perspective of the customer, the approach is zero developers. They don't need any developers for supporting the implementation and the evolution of our SOAR. We have a dedicated team working on preparing these specific integrations, modifying these actions based on the requests coming from the customers. And as Dario mentioned, we have also very advanced customers where they have a team of developers. They want to have their own full control on what is implemented inside the SOAR. So we had just to provide training to them. Typically, we have one-day training to learn how to use the OAF because it's pretty easy to learn. It's, of course, self-explanatory, and we need just to provide a few examples for specific cases. But then some of these customers manage to develop their own code. We have seen examples of thousands and thousands of lines prepared, performing many different custom actions to interact with their own homegrown application. So this is an example of how our tool provides customers with the flexibility to implement their own processes, to create their own automation steps, and of course, to interact with very custom applications that they might have developed inside their environment.
Thanks, Andrea. So we call this methodology as a near no code. So if you have developers in your organization, you can leveraging the open integration framework, changing whatever you want. But in Sumo, we don't talk about no code automation, but we talk about zero developers automation. Michele, what does it mean?
Zero developers means what Andrea explained. So we have an internal team dedicated only to create integrations, to create connectors, and all the advanced features that are included into the OIF. So we are not only talking about actions in terms of enrichment, containment, notification, but we are also talking about daemons, triggers that are very sophisticated features that can be used inside our application, our cloud SOAR. So that the concept is if the customer needs help, if the customer needs to create from scratch new integration and not have the possibility to do it internally, we provide the support. We provide the people that do these activities, and we require only we collect only the requirement. We have to access to the technology, but in fact, we are able to do this integration for the customer and test the integration with the customer. And in case something is needed in the future, some updates, some new actions, new daemons, etc., we are always available to support the customer on this. So this is a very, very important part.
Thank you. Sounds good. So few minutes we have, and Dario, for you. So in cybersecurity, the quickest response is not always the right one, and seems like nonsense when it comes to automation. What are your thoughts on this?
If you are not prepared, of course, it's going to be a mess. You need to be prepared. The automation will accelerate the efficiency of your preparation process. So you have a part of preparation, which is, by the way, pretty reflecting the ISO and the NIST process and the MITRE and so forth. And then you have the possibility to implement such preparation within a playbook context. So if you think that velocity is, the speed of response is the only factor to be considered, you may be wrong for some extent, as much as you are not prepared in your creation of playbooks and standard operating procedures, for example. So what we suggest is creating a number of playbooks and actions as a result of a preparation process and or as implementation of the already available tested and retested standard operating procedures. All the success stories that we handled so far with our SOAR, and thanks God there are a lot, even before the acquisition, have confirmed this approach. So there is no quick or speed or quick and dirty kind of things per se in automation without a bit of preparation and testing. Enrico?
In addition, humans are therefore critical in the analysis of information collected in real time. And SOAR allows full automation, but does not mean it has to be used on everything, right, Andrea?
Absolutely. Our experience said that, of course, we want to help them to reduce their mundane, time-consuming, and repetitive tasks, because this is one of the reasons why analysts are typically being bored with their job, and they start making human errors. They extend the duration of an incident, and they, of course, show a lower commitment. So we help with the automation. We help reduce the effort on this side for the analyst, because we can automate all the activities related to looking for reputations, resolving IPs, checking URL, detonating URL, payloads, and so on. What we want to do is that we want to focus attention of the analyst on the decision-making process. We want to free up their time in, let's say, low-profile tasks to have more time to concentrate on evaluating the results of all this enrichment. discussing maybe internally, checking, escalating, and finally taking a decision on how to remediate the incident. The remediation is typically applied with let's say, providing an answer through an operator that we call user choice, where the analyst or the supervisors are questioned, and then they can answer and provide what is their feedback. And then the remediation can be either fully automated or implemented after a green light or an approval step, where maybe somebody else from another department or a supervisor can confirm that this action, this remediation, has to be put in place. So many different options are available. The overall message in a nutshell is we don't want to replace analysts. We want to help them to improve the quality of their life, reducing the repetitive tasks and improving where they can apply their brains to take decisions, to evaluate the attack pattern, and to spot what might be an important point that only a human can detect and not a machine.
Dario, do you want to add anything?
Yes, I think that the good news is that the level of easy to use for automation improved dramatically in the past 2 years. Before, it was a kind of a complex, only for sophisticated kind of users type of technology. Now, and I can speak for Sumo, of course, the attention and the dedication to the experience, the user experience, is absolutely high. We reduced dramatically, for example, just to give you an example, the number of clicks that are necessary to build the playbook and an integration. And regarding the integration, we reduced the time of integrating new third parties from weeks into very few days. So now the mantra for us is making the automation feasible and easy to use. And with this message, we want to leave the audience today, and we invite to contact us for demo and eventually further questions. Thanks, Enrico.
Thank you to everyone, and see you at the next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye.